The knife is a Spyderco Sprint Run Delica in HAP40. The Delica is a model that I've never really been interested in, mainly due to the size of it and my assumption that it was just a smaller version of the Endura. I wasn't interested in this model until I watched a review of it by Apostle P, and that's really where it caught my interest. Oftentimes I carry larger knives like the K2, the military, the Volatin, or knives around the size of the Endura. Oftentimes, in addition to that, I'll carry a smaller knife, something like the Techno or the Native. So, just to have something with me that's more people-friendly, in case I need to use it in a situation where I don't want to draw a whole lot of attention. And the Delica really fits into that category. I was really enjoying the HAP40 Endura model a lot, and so after I got interested in this model, I figured I probably couldn't go wrong with it. So I went ahead and ordered it, and I'm surprised at how much I'm liking this model as well. The grind is extremely thin. The ergos are good. Plenty of handle to deal with. I've carried it for several weeks. I've done a decent amount of cutting with it, and I've sharpened it several times. The overall length of the Delica is 7.15 inches. The blade length is just under 3 inches. Steel is on this Sprint Run is HAP40 and SUS 410, same as the Endura. The cutting edge on the Delica is just under 2.5 inches. The weight is 2.3 ounces, and it's got a 4-way adjustable clip. That's part of the reason that this knife is so easy to carry. No matter how you like to carry, it's versatile, and it's light enough that it'll carry just about in any pocket. The blade thickness, Spyderco listed as 2.4 millimeters, but that's at the thickest part of the spine, up near the hole. Near the tip, I measured 0.6 millimeters, and I measured 0.5 millimeters just past the shoulder of the bevel on the primary grind, and that was after sharpening the knife repeatedly. So it is an extremely thin grind. It lends itself to slicing, lends itself to use. The ergonomics on it are great. The jimping on the knife is great. I noticed with the Endura that the SUS 410 past the lamination line takes marks in it. It gets, from use, it gets scratches in it and marks in it that show up in certain light and when the knife is really clean. And when I first noticed that, I didn't like it at all. I wasn't sure how it was going to end up, but after a lot of use and a lot of testing with the Endura, I like the way that looks. I mean, it shows the use of the knife, and I don't mind it at all. So I'm hoping that the Delica will turn out the same way. It wouldn't bother me one bit. I mean, these are test knives and user knives anyway, so what's the difference? I do feel like the Delica is different than the Endura. I mean, it looks the same and it's built very similar, but for me, the purpose of the knife, the use of the knife, there's a difference there. It's not meant for as heavy of use as the Endura is. It's more like fine cutting. I think that the grind lends itself to that, and the size lends itself to that. So I really am liking the model a lot. With the sharpening of it, the other thing that I did was I replaced all the stones to the Spyderco Sharp Maker. So they're replaced, and I ordered some more compounds, taking things farther than I had in the past. In the past, the smallest compound that I used was 1/10 of a micron diamond compound. What I've ordered is, in addition to that, is diamond emulsion spray in 1/4 micron, and then to go below the 1/10 of a micron, I ordered one in 0.05 micron and one in 0.025 micron. So to give a frame of reference, the 0.1 micron is 200,000 grit. The 0.025 micron is 620,000 grit. So I've been experimenting with those, making different strops with different kinds of leather. I've been using the 1/4 micron on wood quite a bit. So in getting this knife, getting used to it, doing some evaluating of it, comparing it to the Endura, I've done some cutting with it, just for a basis of comparison. I don't really need to test the ergonomics on a Delica. It's been out way too long. If there was any major problems with it, everyone would talk about it. So that really wasn't an issue. But if you're somebody who tends to like larger size knives, I wouldn't stray from this one. It's an interesting piece, and it carries easy enough that it doesn't have to sit in one of your front pockets. So in sharpening the edge, I use the stones to the sharp maker, starting with the diamond. Brand new diamond stones, coarse diamond stones, come off extremely aggressive. Noticeably different the first time you use them, the first couple times you use them. They settle down as you go, but it is noticeable, and it does, at least, I don't know, on this it leaves a noticeable difference on the edge, although I'm shooting for a very aggressive edge, and that's exactly what I've got. After the diamond, moved on to the medium, then the fine, then the ultra fine. With strops, I started with 3 to 5 micron, then moved to 1, and then I jumped to the spray on wood, the 1/4 micron spray on wood. It seems more aggressive, that 1/4 micron, than the other quarter micron I was using. Now the other 1/4 micron that I've used is a oil-based compound that kind of comes in a syringe. So maybe just inherently the spray will be more aggressive. After that, I moved on to the 0.05 micron, and then finished with the 0.025 micron. Now the other steel that and through all that, when I was done, the edge came out the way that I wanted it to. It was no problems with it splitting hairs, and that's having done it several times. The 0.05 and the 0.025, I'm using both of them on leather, just because I'm not going to waste any of them. I'm going to make them last as long as I can. The other steel that I've used those compounds on is super blue, and when I sharpened super blue, I got a much higher polish than I had planned on. I wasn't trying not to, but it wasn't something I was shooting for, and it's far from perfect, but keep in mind this is almost by accident. What I did differently with this was I left the diamond out. When I started on this knife, on this sharpening, the knife was already sharp, so I didn't need to use the diamond to take any degradation out of the edge. It was already there, so I just started on the medium and moved through. I added in 0.5 micron to the strops, and may have spent a little bit more time on them than I normally would. The edge, of course, feels, well, it's at a high sharpness, we'll say that. I'm not going to get into silly terminology, silly things about the edge. It's saying razor edge or crazy sharp. I'm not going to do that, but it is extremely sharp, we'll say that. So I have more to do with those compounds, more to experiment with, more to try. I don't know if I'm going to add them into testing or not, or save them just for carry knives. But it's interesting, and it's something to keep me busy. I did want to give a little bit of time to the Delica. It's an impressive model, and even if you're, like I said, even if you're a big knife guy, if you ever carry something small in addition to a larger model, you may want to look into the Delica. It's no surprise to me at this point why it's stuck around so long and been one of Spyderco's major models throughout the years.